Hey everybody, Chad Taylor here. We are up and live right at the moment. Got another video going to cover flat earth tips, and this one is going to be called Being Professional. And this video isn't directed to anybody in particular. It's just kind of a handful of tips that I want to cover. And so the first one is mission. What is your mission? Number 2 is attitude. 3 is what gear to use. And 4 is your presentation or being presentable. Now, like I said, this isn't directed at one person in particular. I've just seen quite a few people that I would really love to help them. Or if you're new to all this and you want to share the subject with others, and if you're looking for tips, this is the one for you. And so, number 1, what is your mission? And so this video is for people that want to share this subject with others, and also especially for people if you want to put out videos or audio or things along those lines. You're definitely going to want to check this one out. So, number 1, what is your mission and what is your purpose? You really have to stop before you really start putting out videos and determine what is your purpose? What is your point with doing all this? Now, to me, my purpose is to share this subject with others. It's to share what does the Bible say about earth with others. And if I can fine tune that a little bit more, it is with Christians. I feel that it is my purpose to share this subject primarily with Christians to help them understand what the Bible really says. Now, for sure, this is going to benefit other people that aren't Christians. Absolutely. But I feel like my key is primarily just to help people understand what the Bible says. So, and check this out. This is something that I think is really helpful. If this is where I would start. It's Proverbs 3:5-8 with most of you guys are familiar with this one, but this one has really been something that has been helped me out so much over the last few years. And let me read this to you. So it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord, and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones." And so, to me, this really just means is acknowledge God before you really go, oh, I want to go do this. I want to go do that. Well, maybe stop and just acknowledge Him. Well, what is your mission? Maybe your mission isn't to put out videos. Maybe it's to do something else. Maybe I have no idea. I feel like this is my mission. That's why I'm doing this primarily. So I would get your mission down first, or at least what you think it is, and then go from there. So the second one I want to cover is your attitude. To me, writing the book, and I actually partway through I made this. So it's not about you. This sits right in front of me. I got it right on my wall, right by my monitor. So it's not about you. And I have to remind myself all the time, and people get cranky with me about sharing the subject with others, and I see it pretty much every day. I have to remind myself it's not about me. People make it personally about me, but it's not about me. And I have to remind myself of that. So one book that I've talked about before, but I would encourage all of you guys get if you haven't read it yet, is this one right here. This is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Been around for a very long time. Just a fantastic book. If you haven't read this, I strongly encourage you to get that book. I'll put links in the description for that also. And it's been super duper helpful as far as for dealing with people. We're for the rest of our lives when we're kids, okay, we're going to deal with people and we're going to deal with money. Yet most of us are not taught how to deal with people and money. And so regarding the people side of things, I would strongly encourage you get this book. It'll help you out. From my experience, in my opinion, you definitely want to get it if you haven't read it yet. So that should help you kind of help to understand the other person's point of view, or at least help you kind of empathize with people. So as far as gear goes, as far as sharing this in kind of just a general sense, I'm not going to get into a lot of specifics, but a general sense of sharing this subject. And this is, I've seen some people with some very kind of shabby stuff, and I'm not pointing fingers, and I'm not saying that mine is the best by any means, because it is most certainly not. Mine is like a really good amateur setup that I have here. But so your basic gear that you're going to need, is a computer or You know, that could be a desktop or laptop, iPad, or even just your phone, just a regular iPhone. That's a great way to share videos, to record videos, share videos, but just learn some tips. I would encourage you guys to spend some time and learn how to make videos on your iPhone or whatever you have. Just start with what you got. But I would say one tip along with that is your audio. I would encourage you to spend a little bit extra time with audio. Now, for instance, this is just this brand right here off of, I got this one off Amazon. It was like 20 bucks. I'll put the link in the description for this one. This is a lapel mic. Now, so all my videos that I record, when I'm out in the field or whatever you want to say, I use this mic here. I have a backup lapel also. And so most people have a clip and then the little foam piece, the little windscreen that goes over it. I actually took that off, and I learned this tip from a guy named Justin Brown. I'll put a link to his videos too. He's got a lot of fantastic content here with how to tape this up. So if you bear with me here, so in my camera bag, I rolled up this thing of duct tape. So I didn't want to carry a whole roll with me, so I just basically rolled up this little makeshift thing here. And so I use duct tape because for a couple of reasons for your lapel mic. So first of all, so you don't see it, okay? And second of all, this helps, I think, even better with wind than that little funky windscreen thing. So you just get a chunk of tape, and I learned this from that Justin Brown guy, so I can't take the credit for this, but you roll up your deal into basically like into a little triangle wedge piece here, like so. Okay, take your lapel mic and put it just below the so you can see this. Yep, just below the top of that. Okay, now take another piece of duct tape, about yay long, and then same thing just above that. Okay, so you can see it there. Okay, and the purpose with this, if you can see this, is so it's just, the mic is just below that, and so any wind will blow right over it and not get into the mic. Any clothing and stuff won't get onto the top of the mic. So you hear people move around when they got a lapel mic on, you can hear the you know, all those kind of funky sounds. Well, doing it this way, you don't get a lot of that. And then so you put this up through your shirt and then tape it on the inside here, so the cord's going to be through the shirt, and then you don't see it. Okay, so if you check one of the last videos I did was a Christian Dilemma Part 3. I recorded that video with this exact setup, and it was really windy. You can see the trees whipping in the background, and I don't think you could hear any wind at all in that recording, or if you could, barely. I was very impressed, and I actually prefer this over a shotgun mic off of the camera. So this is a $20 lapel mic, and also there's a little adapter here, and so I use, this is called a H1, a Zoom H1. I got it for like 65 bucks. This is 20 bucks for this setup, plugged in here, and then I just got a bigger SD card. So the whole thing comes in at under 100 bucks, and this records really nice audio for the money. For under 100 bucks, it works fantastic. But you can also, well, and also this, it has two built-in mics here that you can record. Like my footsteps in one of my other videos I did, I held this down when I was walking in snow and recorded my footsteps in the snow, for instance. You can record lots of sounds with just this. But for audio, for just vocals, this works fantastic with this. Also, this little adapter, so if you look, this has two black stripes on it. So this is a TRS, but there's an adapter. This comes with 3 stripes on it, so that's TRRS. Long story short, just the 3 stripes, 2 stripes with a 3-stripe doohickey 1/8 inch plug you use for your iPhone, things like that. So this can be a great microphone for, say, your iPhone or whatever phone you have to record. So you can have another recorder for audio and this will record, in my opinion, better audio than your any kind of built-in mic on your phone for 20 bucks. Let's see. With the my main camera I like to use, this is a Canon 80D. Links in the description. This is my main camera I like to use. If you're just getting going, you don't need this. Okay, use your iPhone. Use whatever you have. I think audio is more important personally, but you know, people will put up with bad video. People won't put up with bad audio. And so for when I'm out in the field or anything, you know, I really like this camera. It was $1,200 bucks. It came with 2 lenses. This is an additional lens. This is a 10-18. So it's an 80D with a 10-18 lens. This is my main lens that I like to use. For bright days, I have a filter that I put on the front of it for really bright light. But this thing works fantastic for photos and for video. These little wind muffs here, this is they're called wind jammers for if it's windy. But I don't use the audio on the camera here. I use the lapel mic for that. But this helps with syncing. So you can, in your computer program, which I'll get to that here in a minute, you can record your video with this and your audio with that. But what I like to do is I put the camera up close and I just snap my fingers. And so it's a spike that helps the audio sync. And so in your program, you use your audio that this records with the audio from the external recorder, which could be your iPhone or whatever. I just like that other recorder, and it syncs up everything. So it's really simple. So you can have really good audio and then have good video also. And then I just got this handle here, and then this also acts as a tripod as well. And this extends also. So, you know, if you see me out doing stuff, that's how I have it when I'm recording myself. It's just like that. So anyway, it was a big expense, you know, over $1,000 bucks for a camera, but it's been a fantastic camera. But like I said, you don't need that if you're just getting going. I would, however, spend the money on some decent audio stuff like that. In my opinion, that's more important than the video side. But some of the newer phones do 4K, and they, you know, so there's kind of bigger file sizes, and they do pretty good video on phones. Moving on. Sound quality tips. Okay, if you're in a controlled environment like this, I'm in a small room. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen part of this where I have, you know, acoustic foam, and so I'm in a really good controlled environment. And also controlling the background. Do you have dogs? Do you have kids that could be making noise? You know, what are the distractions that could be around? And you can't get rid of all of them, you know, but you can get rid of a lot of them. You know, if, for instance, a lot of times I'll unplug different things in the other room if I think this machine's going to turn on, if I think my deep freeze is going to turn on or whatever. You know, unplug that when you're recording. Just remember to plug it back in. Different things like that. Let's see. Lighting is very important. I think audio and lighting are more important than what camera you're going to be using. So right now I have 5 different lights going right here. I have 2 on my face, 1 over there, 1 right here. I got a hair light right above me, and I got 2 for the blue screen. So I'm using a blue screen right now. So I got 5 lights that I'm using. You certainly don't have to use a blue or a green screen for sure. You definitely don't need that. I just I like it. There's a lot of reasons I like to use them. But then your background when you're recording. So this kind of gets into the presentation here of, well, actually, let me cover software real quick. So you got your video, whatever you record that in, and your audio. You could just record it all on your phone or whatever, but I'd encourage you to do a little bit of research, like I said. But your software. So I use Premiere Pro, which is part of Adobe. I pay 80-something bucks a month to use all of their programs for Adobe. If you're just getting going, there's plenty of free programs you can use, and a lot of computers come with different video editing things. You know, so just do your research. You might be able to you probably even have a free one already on your computer, possibly. On my iPad, I have a program called LumaFusion, which I've never used it. I got it and never have used it, but I hear that one's really good. LumaFusion, I think it's $20 or something. I'm not really sure. I didn't use it mostly because you can't do chroma key with it, with removing the background as far as I'm aware. Let's see here. So as far as the location, now this is kind of one of the things that I see a lot of people doing is it seems like they put almost no thought into what is the background like, what are people going to think. And so to me it's like the mindset of I don't care what people think. Well, I don't care what people think, but at the same time I do care what people think, because you only have one chance to make a first impression. You don't get a second chance. And so every time I do this, I try to make sure I do the best I can to make sure I'm wearing a decent shirt. I don't have, a bad hair day or anything like that. I do my best to look presentable because I want to look good and be presentable and make a good first impression of people. And so I literally see people wearing like Metallica t-shirts or wife beaters and just, big nasty whatever goatee, like trim up your face and beard and all that kind of stuff. So I like facial hair as much as the next guy, but I think it's important to make that good first impression. And then the background, I see people, it looks like they're recording with their phone pointed up their nose as they're wearing a wife beater and just like with some, I just picture just terrible distracting backgrounds. It's like, man, why can't you clean up your mess behind you and just point at a blank wall or do something, just put a little bit of thought into what is behind you and what's distracting, and would I take you serious? Would you take you serious if you saw your video on here? And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. It's just there's certain checklists to do to make sure that you're looking presentable. Because if they can't focus on what you're saying, it's going to go nowhere. So it's important that people aren't distracted and they pay attention to what you're doing and pay attention to what you have to say. And if you can take away distractions, like I'm wearing a decent shirt, so people aren't focused on my shirt. Now, if I had some terrible shirt that with whatever on it, it's distracting and it's unprofessional. So, and also trying to be neutral and to where you kind of appeal to people from this side of the tracks and from that side of the tracks, just where you're kind of neutral, I guess you could say, trying to relate to as many people as you can. It's just kind of my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm guilty of all this kind of stuff, and so I've just kind of learned this over the years. Let's see here. Man, I think I just kind of ran through a lot of that. So this has just been kind of good general tips for this subject. You don't got to spend a whole bunch of money on certain things, but I think it's just important to really think about these little details. And I'll put links so that Justin Brown guy and also a guy named Terry White, he's got a lot of good stuff on this subject as well. He's been real helpful for me. So check the links in the description. Appreciate you guys. And next video is going to be, we're going to re-examine the foundations of the earth in the next video. So appreciate you guys. We'll be chatting with you soon. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.